Hey Vsauce, Michael here. A single piece of refined flour is, on average, just 82.67 microns wide. That means a 5-pound bag of flour contains about 2.7 billion individual specks of flour dust.
Yeah?
Now, if each of those particles were a person, 3 bags could represent every single human alive on Earth today. 8.1 billion itty-bitty things.
Hey, thanks, Great Lag
Are you
God.
under
Welcome
30
back.
years old? Is a question that could roughly divide everyone alive today in half, the yeses and the nos. But can you imagine a second question that could then divide both of those groups in half? Well, if so, and if you kept doing that, after just 33 questions, you would be left with more than 8 billion groups, each containing just one person. In other words, out of everyone alive today, we could pinpoint a specific individual. For example, you, with just 33 yes or no questions. What would those questions be? Do they even exist? We don't know.
How long is this
But
long?
we do know that every year, about this many people die. A little bit more than a quarter cup. But about twice as many as that are born.
From flour poisoning.
But how many people have ever been born? This many, 117 billion. But out of all of these people, out of everyone who has ever existed, this is how many you will ever meet. You are a stranger
Now
to
snort
your
them.
own species. This is a video about how you will be forgotten. It's about the ghosts that surround us and how they're getting closer. Our journey begins 2,500 kilometers above the surface of the sun. There, a hot layer of ionized gas begins its reach millions of kilometers out into space. It's called the solar corona. And normally, it's outshone by the rest of the sun because it gives off just 1/1,000,000th as much light. But during an eclipse, it can be seen. When you are eclipsed, your own sort of corona will remain as well. The memories people have of you, your treasure and junk, emails and texts
My junk?
you sent, the fact that your child has a nose like yours, every appearance you made in the background of a stranger's photo, those are all traces of you that shine while you're alive, but can also continue long after you're gone. Douglas Hofstadter called them your solar corona. I love that phrase because it makes a cosmological phenomenon
The sausage is
personal
too hot, I can't
by
eat it.
literally including you. How long will you be here? Well, that's why I made this clock. It tells the time, but it also tells
No, you're already
your time.
plugging shit on us,
Just
Michael?
answer a few questions, and then, when it's ready, push the red button, and the clock will begin counting down the seconds you have left to live, approximately. Now, whenever you want, you can switch it to show the time, but that's not nearly as fun. Also, this clock never forgets. If you take away its power, it'll go dark, but it's still thinking about you. Next time you plug it in, it will pick right back up where it should be. Now, if you would like a practical, retro memento mori, you can pre-order one of these
It
now.
knows.
Omnis vulnerant ultima necat is Latin, and it refers to these passing seconds. It means each of these wounds, the last kills. Mox nox means
How can it know that, by the way? How does that feature work? How can it know how much time it's been between it had power? Does it have battery inside it?
soon it will be night.
Probably a small battery, right?
Will. But while this is ticking down, something else is ticking up. The number of ghosts in the world. Your nominal ghost is your name. It's out there representing you whether you're there or not. It won't haunt the world forever though. As we've often been reminded, you die twice. Once when your heart stops beating, and then again, usually sometime later, when your name is spoken for the last time.
NymN.
But whose name has been remembered the longest? Well, signed
Jesus.
here on this 5,000-year-old tablet is the oldest written name we've ever found. Kushum, the first named character we know in the written history of humanity, probably. It's not entirely clear whether
That guy had the best
Kushum is
kush.
the name of a person or just the title of an office holder. You know, if you want to be really sure, a generation or two later, this tablet was made. It contains 3 names, Gal Sol, and 2 people he enslaved, Inpop X and a woman named
what?
Sukaljar. These individuals
These names
are
sound like out of Superman. Think Icy, thanks for the 2 years, man. Welcome back, bro. This is so hot.
the reigning champs of avoiding
Why
a
would
second
Emil buy
death.
such a hot
and
sausage?
with archival practices and
Who likes the
technologies
shits?
being what they are today, your name could conceivably last just as long as these have already. But you know,
Your name.
I gotta
no, we saw that. It's only like 2 hours long.
if you want your ghosts to last longer, it helps to bend the truth a little bit. Toby Jukanov built this interactive globe that shows the most famous person born in every location.
Oh, that's cool.
Fame is based on Wikipedia data.
Germany
how
just
long
has
their
Hitler.
article is,
Or
how
Austria, I
many
mean.
languages it's in, how many visits it gets per day, stuff like that. By the way, out of everyone alive right now, about this many of us, almost exactly a quarter teaspoon, are mentioned on Wikipedia. Now let's zoom in on Stillwell, Kansas.
Wait, this is neat. What's the link for this? I want to go to there.
Hello NymN.
Yo.
Yesterday I gave up to temptation and swiped on Human Museum Cats. At least I got what I wanted and it was worth it, right? Right?
No,
Yours.
it's never worth it, bro. Thank you so much, though, for the resub, Max Thurian. 61 months. I hope you're well. Oh, this is fun to tinker with. We'll check it out later, I guess. Who's Ingmar Bergman, most famous Swedish? I guess that makes sense. Carl Linné. Astrid Lindgren. If you zoom all the way out in America, who's it gonna be? You can't even do that. Jimi Hendrix, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, Bob Dylan, Donald Trump. What is this? Are there people on the South Pole? What is this? This guy was born here? Wait, Maradona was born here? That's crazy. Clav! 42 months. Damn, you aged so much since the last time I seen you. Toxic? Hayao Miyazaki is the most famous Japanese person, apparently. Mao Zedong. Huge Jackman. Cool, man. Barack Obama. All right.
Ooh, hey there, good looking.
Are you on the
But
map?
here's the
Yeah.
thing. I wasn't born in Stillwell.
Oh!
I grew up there. I lived there from ages 5 to 18.
Vsauce is famous.
But I was born in Kansas City. For a while, a lot of things online said that I was born in Stillwell, so that's probably how I wound up here. But should I correct it? What's more important, the truth or a little lie that prolongs and enhances my nominal ghost? Maybe the truth.
So he's just
Because
flexing
even
on
if
us.
my name is forgotten, images of me may stick around. And that is your second ghost. Your likeness. Figurative portrayals of what you look like. Now, we have no idea what most people who have lived looked like. Long ago, no records were made. Eventually, some were and have survived. So, who's the earliest known person where, like, we know what they looked like? Well, it's probably Gudea. He was an ancient Sumerian ruler, and 27 4,000-year-old statues of him have been found in southern Iraq.
Smooth-looking
They stand
fella.
out not just for their craftsmanship, but also for the fact that earlier depictions of human forms are
Yo,
either more
damn.
abstract or generalized. But because these depictions of Gudea are more realistic, are so similar to each other, and have been found spread so widely, it's tenable that they're similar to the actual face of the actual individual as he appeared in life. The first known illustrated
Wow.
person in our history. Even if your figural ghosts don't stick around as long as Gudea's have, things that look kind of like you.
How much do you care, though? Would you guys care a lot about people remembering your name when you're dead? You're dead, right? I mean, leaving something everlasting, I think, seems fun. Leave some sort of an impression on the globe to sort of help give your life meaning. But specifically my main name being remembered or not, I don't feel like I care that much. Maybe you change your mind about this as you get older. I don't know. You always leave something. Yeah. I guess a nice ambition to have in life is to leave a net positive. Which is, of course, very sort of hard to judge. Or like maybe you did a lot of things morally nice, but you were terrible for like the environment or whatever. Like how do you measure it? But Still.
You might. I'm talking about your genetic ghost, your personal genomic variation that can be carried on by your descendants. Now, interestingly, even if your progeny are especially fecund, your genetic ghost probably won't stick around that long. Just
What?
how much of your unique genetic code winds up in your grandkids, for example, depends partly on chance. It could be anywhere from 23 to 27%. Your great-grandkids will only contain 9 to 14%.
But there will always be a fraction, though. That won't ever, like, go away.
Your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will on average be no more similar to you than you are to any stranger.
Oh.
In fact,
Okay, but no matter how much genetic code you share with them, though, they would never exist if it wasn't for you. Them and, like, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, which is kind of cool.
it is at that distance that it becomes possible to be genetically left behind for absolutely no personal chunks of your genome.
Doesn't
to be
matter, had
present
sex.
in anyone. More than 70% of your ancestors from 11 generations ago aren't in you at all. So you're not so much the genetic foundation on which your progeny sit as you are their baby teeth, a thing that served a purpose but was destined to then fall out and be set aside. Where should you be buried if you want to become a fossil? Fossils last a long time. Your legacy could be representing our species in a cool bony pose at a museum millions
A
of
bit
years
of a
from now.
shanking 344.
Well, as it turns out, fossilization, the mineralizing of bones into rocky ghosts, is an exceedingly rare occurrence. Bill Bryson puts it this way: less than 0.1% of a species is ever lucky enough to become fossilized, which means that millions of years from now,
I don't want to be I don't want some sweaty, drooling kid staring at my bones as I lie dug up and exposed in some museum somewhere.
what will be left of every single person alive today in the US will probably just be about 60 fossilized bones.
Why not? I don't know. I'm not a
even
zoo animal.
One full human skeleton. The best way to improve your chances of becoming a fossil are to be buried rapidly and deeply with no coffin under the seafloor of a still mass of water at low elevation where sediment deposits will be swift and fine and oxygen levels low.
All right, fine, but at least I'm making money when I'm streaming, okay? Pay up for the tickets.
Locations that fit this bill are parts of the Black Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, where the Mississippi disgorges, and the mangrove swamps along the northern coast of Australia. But even then, there's risk, right? Earth is an active, churning rock, and erosion can wear you away. Metamorphic activity
What about
can melt
erection?
you back down. So if you want to be a trace for a long time, leave.
Oh.
The oldest unchanged piece of Earth wasn't even found on Earth. It was found on the moon, where geological activity is less
Big
brutal.
Bertha.
A monolith engraved with your name and biography buried on the moon would be a good idea. Except in, 5 to 10 billion years, our sun will expand into a red giant, engulfing the Earth and moon, likely destroying them forever.
something,
so,
chat.
a copper disc coated in aluminum and gold floating through space would be even better. The golden records aboard the Voyager spacecraft could exist for trillions of years. They could conceivably still be legible even after the last star goes dim. But your final type of ghost will be there too. It's what I call your ripple ghost, the diffused domino effect of all of your actions. There will be people, for example, a century from now, who could enjoy the shade of a tree you planted without ever wondering who put it there. The butterfly effect effectively guarantees us all a sort of anonymous, minute immortality. Just by being born, technically, you changed the universe irrevocably.
Oopsie.
The tiny and subtle but very real way your mass affects the planet Saturn right now will contribute in some extremely small way to exactly how and when its rings collapse. When the universe enters its heat death and it's the same temperature everywhere, the arrangement of matter
you,
in
Saturn.
the universe will be the way it is because you existed. There will be no minds to observe it, so you won't be remembered, but you won't be annihilated. But so what? Oh, I've got ghosts that stick around. Newsflash, buddy, I'm not my ghosts. Okay, first of all, yeah, That's exactly why talk of fame and legacy gets so fizzly. For what? I won't be around to enjoy it, and eventually no one will be. But secondly, that's actually a pretty good definition of the self. You are everything you take with you when you die. Your secrets, the things you could have done or said but never did, that's what you are. Now, you could desperately try to do as much as you can and leave as much on the table as possible, but life is short. Too short? Well, Derek Parfit has pointed out that the brevity of life probably has nothing to do with its meaning. If your life was twice as long,
11,000 days.
Twice as much meaning? If we were all immortal, would the meaning of life suddenly be obvious? No. Meaning is separate from the sheer participation we crave. We just want to keep playing this game. And there's never been more game to play. Staggering amounts of what we want to experience have been tamed into beasts, so lightweight and so fast that, like ghosts, they can pass through walls. The soy bomb only lasted 36 seconds, but because a digital ghost of it lingers in Earth's largest haunted house, an average of 40 people have seen it every day for the last 30 years. Old music started outselling new music for the first time in 2015. Today, we each spend an average of 7...
What was that picture? Old music is outselling new music. This past year, catalog albums outsold the current ones by 4.3.
First time in 2015. Today, we each spend an average of 7 hours and 3 minutes a day in a haunted house full of avatars and messages from the living and dead alike.
7 hours?
People and ideas and art and the past have become not just accessible, but accessible. We are on these ghost portals.
Hang on, chat. We talked about doing this as a Friday review, but real fast. Go to your phones. Go to settings. Go to battery. For the what's your top usage? Which app? Mine is Reddit. 36.
Michael here. I will suck your toes. Or will I? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's
36 minutes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Grinder.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. I was crazy.
Instagram.
Once they locked me in a rubber room with rats.
What is iVibrate?
Rats make me cry.
4 hours in Chrome on incognito mode. Spotify? That's a pretty good one because Spotify. Bro, are you done soon? Because Spotify implies you were doing something else, probably, right? You're not staring at the phone while you're in there.
So much, it's become pretty much the only way anyone finds companionship anymore.
I've never seen anyone type it out with a space in between. Maybe you're on your phone.
For crying out loud, more people on this planet own cell phones than toothbrushes.
Oh.
Documentality is
the
word Maurizio Ferraris gave to his
brush their teeth with their phone?
traces, but it's also a great word for the extent to which day-to-day life in a society happens as documentation. In a society of high documentality,
we live in a society.
Nearly every transaction, click, step, every memory, everything said or done is vulnerable to recording or simply comes into the world already pre-remembered. Not as an ephemeral oral exchange or a haphazard note.
But he didn't say there are more phones, did he? I think he said more people own phones than teeth brush. So it would be a bit dishonest if he meant there's just more phones.
But as a high-fidelity, time-stamped, cataloged artifact. In such a world, it shouldn't be surprising if it starts to feel like there are more things you've said than things you could say. More ways things have been than ways things could be. The future isn't what it used to be. But
Floating
don't get
chair.
it twisted. Complete documentality is far from here. As I've mentioned before, our estimates of the current human population have about a 2 to 3% margin of error. That means that about this many people may or may not exist. And at any given moment in the US alone, there are about 40,000 deceased bodies whose identities are unknown.
Wow.
When Steve Fawcett failed to return to the Flying M Ranch in 2007, search and rescue efforts sent to find him discovered 8 previously unidentified airplane crashes that weren't him, but had been out there for, in some cases, decades.
The fuck?
And when authorities searched for Gabby Petito, they found her and the bodies of at least 8 other people they weren't even looking for.
Wow.
We are not a documented species. We are a bunch of animals walking in and out of rooms. That said, some things changed. The last time a body was interred in the tomb of the unknown soldier was after the Vietnam War, but it was removed in 1998 after DNA testing connected it to a name, Michael Joseph Blassie. In 2014, prosecutors didn't need witnesses or security cam footage to construct what happened between Michelle Carter and Conrad Roy because they had these thousands of text messages. Despite living just 35 miles apart, Carter and Roy's relationship occurred almost entirely through text. So these are not pieces of their relationship. They're not evidence of the whole story.
Promise?
They are
Promise?
the
Promise?
whole story.
Promise?
These messages aren't missing the glances, the nods, the way he or she said it. This is all they each saw. And we have it all. An entire human relationship that happened as, and still is, undying documents. They're all online. Just a few taps deep.
Along with your chat logs, guys. Hey, Crow92, 78 months. Thank you for the prime, thank you for the prime, thank you for the rhyme. Welcome back.
In the world's largest ocean of documentation. And we just keep filling it up, turning more and more of what we do and see
Data.
into ghosts, not just to remember, but to experience. When we instinctively watch events through our phones, it's not that we aren't living in the moment, it's that we are. Today, to be in the moment, you have to be fully in the moment. Every part of you, even the eye, you have to charge, and the mind you share with others.
Electric
See what's
fence.
happening? We are not just getting more ghosts, we are beginning to live as ghosts, as an account.
You're too fast with these. It's completely lost esoteric knowledge. The logging out and locking your screen are different. Nobody under 50 has ever logged out of a computer. Similarly, actually turning off a TV there rather than sleep mode. Nobody says G2G anymore. There's nowhere to go. You're locked in.
As ghosts, as an account, a like, a post, a view, and it's great. We're spared the humilities of
But they do say
confrontation.
G2A,
And
that's
to
right.
be an image is to be something. Frederick Douglass and Sojourner Truth knew this. They had photographic images of themselves printed up. To own and control and sell your own figural ghost meant that you had power. But today, being a ghost surrounded by other ghosts causes a certain kind of newfangled anxiety. In
Gate
his
to Adventure
1985
Ranks.
Amusing Ourselves to Death, Neil Postman describes what he calls the information-action ratio. Now, even though this book predates the World Wide Web, it may as well have been written about it. Let me ask you a modern version of a question he asks in here.
All right.
How often does something you see on social media cause you to alter your plans for the day, or to take some action you would not otherwise have taken, or provide you with insight into some problem you are required to solve? When everything persists, irrelevance takes over. But the constant scroll of doom and pleasure and distraction.
Yeah, I saw some weird thing recently on TikTok that actually ended up being useful. Just random. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but just fun. It was. You guys have one of those massage guns that everyone bought a while back? You can use those on ketchup bottles that are almost empty. It actually gets all the ketchup out. It's like magic. So that changed our life for the better. So one TikTok in every 1,000 or so is useful. You're gonna be I'm actually never on TikTok unless I'm streaming. It's not really my platform of choice. Massage wand. Yeah, you know, one of those guns. Not everything is sexual, you guys. Watch The Lars from 1971 next Sunday. Actual good science fiction movie.
Isn't just irrelevant.
I'm not
is it?
streaming on Sunday.
No, it's truly a ghost that can pass
Might as well.
right through.
Our movie night's been snitched on anyway. The jig is up.
You can sit
Cops
and
are
stare
gonna roll
for
up.
an hour and not remember a single thing you were served.
Yeah.
We don't do that because it feels good. We do it because our minds want to be unsettled. A never-ending scroll of decontextualized news and horror and comedy and family and backflips isn't some unholy modern abomination of nature. It is exactly the niche we evolved to thrive in. Oh.
He's right, but we all already know this, and also we still do it. Hopeless.
Oh no, my brain evolved to eat berries in a cave. No, it evolved to reach the lushness of Southeast Asia and then cross the Wallace line. Not because it had to, and not because it could, but because what laid beyond was next. And we've got autoplay on. Hey, let's build a thing that floats and like we could fit in it. We could call it a boat. Huh? What's that? Where will it take us? Away. We are not the universe experiencing itself. We are the universe ignoring itself. We are the universe looking for something else. In order to be here for long, we needed to not be here for long. I don't think it's the risk or the challenge that motivates us. Good stories and curiosity and adventure are the icing on the cake we really desire, unsettledness. Not knowing what's going to happen next can be exciting. Why? I think in the same way that long necks were selected in giraffes because no one was eating the way up high leaves, and in the same way that white fur was selected in polar mammals because no one was eating snow, imagination was selected in humans because no one was eating possibilities. As soft apes in the midst of climatic change, those who survived didn't wait for natural selection to provide an answer. No.
Where are we, Freddy Krueger?
They relied, as we still do today, not on evolution, but on resolution, on picturing and manipulating an analog world inside the theater of their own minds. Up here, we can imagine things that aren't hypotheticals. The distant past and future, the way things might be. We can recognize that collecting firewood now will be worth it. We can recognize that if there's no water here, we can bring it to us. The world is not our home. It's fuel for the fire up here where we really live. But because of that fire, we have made the whole world our home. Our ancestors are those hominids whose resolving never resolved. Now, sure, binge watching TV or scrolling a social media feed are pretty different than crossing the Bering Strait, but they're still unsettling, right? What's going to happen next? Each next swipe brings you something different. Like the cognitive niche we built for ourselves, it never resolves. But unlike the travails of our ancestors, there's so much less danger. We can witness and interact safely from home, like pieces of luggage being moved at light speed without moving at all. The internet is a bounty of torques
full of tubes,
pushes that spin.
What did this say? Everybody's too busy keeping up with skibbity toilet lore. As a reply to, what are the best theories for why violent crime has been falling?
Velleities, pushes that spin us around but don't move us anywhere, and wishes not strong enough to inspire action. We're not amusing ourselves to death. We're amusing ourselves to life. A longer, scarier life. And as always,
thanks for watching. Okay. This auto stabilize is really bad.
Don't forget to pre-order your very own death clock. After you've answered its questions and pressed the red button, the button stays locked down. It cannot change. It's locked to your soul, to your life. Unless you want to give it to someone else. Or you maybe
Dr. Jimmy Russell, thank you for the 47 months Prime. Thank you, welcome back. That was okay. I prefer the old 10-ish minute Vsauce videos where he jumps between a lot of things. This got pretty philosophical towards the end, but I didn't mind it. It was a pretty decent video. Thanks, Vsauce. Cool. Thumbs up. Thumbs up from me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a best of internet daily dotes. There's the new unusual memes. This thing looks insane.